Okay, I definitely feel like Molly in the big comfy couch vibes when I do this, when I record, and I just wanted you guys to know because that was one of my favorite shows growing up. And we are ready to blast off in three, two, one. Hello, pioneers. If you're new here, hello. I am Jasmine, and I simply talk about my life so that we can relate in Christ. That's it. Very simple. If you're not, what's up, pioneers? Gang, gang. We are here today to talk about identity. It's a wild ride, identity, and there's so many different things that shape your identity, and I feel like one of the biggest things is environmentally, like the environment that you're in can really make or break who you are as a person in your identity. And one of the first touches we get with identity is gonna have to be from our parents, which is interesting because I feel like growing up, I always felt like a dichotomy between my parents. Like I felt like my mom thought I was bad, but my dad thought I was good. And so I never really knew which one I actually was. So if y'all, I didn't tell y'all, I don't know if I told y'all. So like back when I was young, back when I was a young warthog, I got in trouble a lot. I got written up a lot. My mom consistently had to be at the school, consistently had to discipline me. I don't know what it was. I legitimately couldn't tell you. I don't really remember much of being young in all truth and honesty. But I do remember like this strong feeling of I didn't do anything wrong. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, I don't understand. Like, so I felt like everybody thought I was bad, not even just my mom, even my dad sometimes. And so I was like, everybody thinks I'm bad. So that must be my identity. I just must be a bad kid. I must be a bad seed. Identity, right? So then, like, about fifth grade, I kind of had this like revelation, don't know. And I was just like, I can choose to not be bad. Let's give that a try. Like, let's see what happens. And so I made the choice to kind of like switch my gears. And I guess I feel like that's when my perfection mode hit, where I wanted to do everything perfect. And I thought if I did everything perfectly and did things by the book, then I wouldn't be considered bad anymore. I would be considered good and I would be accepted, right? Because, when you're bad, you also don't feel accepted. You don't feel like people love you when you're bad. I didn't. Um, so then we tried the perfectionist route, which caused, a lot of anxiety and depression, especially when you know that if you don't know this, being perfect does not do anything, and it's also not something that's actually achievable by human beings. Jesus Christ was the only one that was perfect. So then I tried to be perfect. And I don't even think that's just a me thing too. I definitely feel like as women, society pushes this like really heavy, pervasive, you have to be perfect mentality and mindset on us. Like we have to have it all, do it all, sex, body, but also don't, not too much. It's just like so many different conflicting ways, especially like navigating your identity as a woman. Like it's complete trash, honestly. And I feel like too, I had that because then we hit middle school where it's like boy girl interaction, we having crushes and everything like that. And because my mom had gotten pregnant at a young age, I feel like she was very don't even look at boys and even think about boys because you ain't getting pregnant, you ain't bringing no babies in here. And I'm just like, sis, I'm a virgin. That was that was on my mind. Like that was on my mind, obviously. But I was like, I'm not trying to do what you did. Like, I'm not trying to bring home a baby. Like, I'm just out here trying to see what these cute boys do. What y'all do? Hey, Tom. Hey, Colin. Hey, Brady. Anyway, so we had the mingling of the boys and girls. And of course, as I've told y'all before, then I thought I was a potato. And I feel like that identity was more so because I had this like crazy growth spurt between fifth grade and sixth grade where like my shoe size grew, I went like 2, 3 pant sizes up. So I was just really chubby. And I felt like most adolescents do, like awkward and weird and big in my own body. And then I think too, having boobs in middle school and elementary school with boys, that was the freaking worst. Because they were always like, oh, let me touch them. Oh, let me see them. And I'm just like, no, what is wrong with you? And keep in mind at this point too, like I had went to church, done everything like that, but I didn't really think about my identity in relation to God or Christ or anything like that. And even after I was baptized, I still didn't really think much of it, which happened in middle school. So then we fast forward to high school, me moving, identity is just like, oh, not only am I a potato, I'm also an awkward duckling. I feel like in middle school, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like socially, even though I was weird, I was popping. I had like friend group on friend group on friend group. I had like dudes texting and calling me left and right. Like I really did think I was the shit, like dead ass. I was like, she popping. And then I was Georgia and I came crashing down because wasn't nobody on my line and nobody cared about me. And I was awkward, so I didn't know, like I didn't, this is a whole new fish. This is a whole new pond. This is a whole new ocean. I didn't know what I was doing here. So I feel like that pivotal moment kind of shifted my identity even more to be like, okay, so like, wow, I'm awkward. And then I guess the whole like bad feeling came back. I was still trying to be a perfectionist. It was a whole mess. It was a whole hassle. Being an adolescent and a teenager sucks. I don't like it. So then I go to college, and of course I'm still like awkward perfectionist, moving, making my way downtown, walking fast. And then I kind of like get hit with the brick of like, this doesn't have to be all that your identity is. And I'm just like, what? Because I mean, at first I was bad, and then I was a potato, awkward potato, and now I'm an awkward perfectionist. Like that doesn't have to be. And then even more after grad school, which is just a little unfortunate because I'm 26. So like that was just a few years ago, people. Like very recently, I'm just like, all of these labels, all of these identities I placed upon myself. Now, granted, I did that in relation to the interactions that I had with others and people's reactions to me. Obviously, makes sense. But the reality when it comes to identity is that people can place labels on you, people can judge you all they want to, but you don't have to accept them. And that was the like biggest thing for me is I'm just like, nope, they said this, so this has to be what it is. I mean, and that was my experience in life is, oh, well, so-and-so says I'm this, so this is what I have to be. And I'm just like, or I don't. And I was just like, what? What do you mean I don't? Like, I don't have to accept what? You legitimately don't have to accept any of anybody's labels, any of anybody's judgments. Somebody can be like, oh, you act like you all that. And you can be like, sure, that's your opinion. And a wise man once told me, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But that's what it is. It's not a fact because you control the facts of you. It's your identity. It's your personality at the end of the day. So it's like someone's like, oh, you got too high of a body count, or you don't, or you just enjoy sex, or that's just your truth and your reality. They can think and feel however they want to, and you don't have to accept that at all. And I know, especially for me, like I get the term like emotional or moody, and I don't like it because I feel like nobody gets like how like deep my emotions are. Like this is the most deepest unexplored ocean in the world, And so it's just like when they come to that, I'm like, that's not true. Like, what do you mean? I do have moments where I am moody and emotional, definitely a thing, but I don't have to accept that. And I think as women, we get so caught up in like, oh, well, we have to present ourselves like this. I have to be a good mom, show people I'm a good mom. They gonna say what they want to say regardless. And that's the second biggest, most powerful thing is you can dot your I's and cross your T's and try to be Miss Patty Perfect. People are still going to have something to say about you. Negative, positive, indifferent, all of the above. There is nothing you can do that is within your control that's going to make people 100% approve of you and like you. But also as well, why is that the approval that you're seeking? Because at the end of the day, as I've said repeatedly over and over each video, none of these people have a heaven or hell to put you in. They ain't got it. They ain't gonna be like, oh, well, she went to every PTA meeting. She was there at all of her daughter's stuff. Go, Susan. And that's it. And where they gonna put you, Susan? They ain't gonna put you nowhere. They can't put you anywhere. Like, God does, though. And so then I had to shift to be like, okay, so people are going to say what they want to say, but God's not. God doesn't change what he says about you. No matter what you do, what you think you do that's wrong, terrible, indifferent, God's not going to change what he thinks about you and what he says about you. And to me, that is the most like powerful and freeing, but also like all-encompassing love that I feel like I don't deserve in any shape, form, or fashion, but that I love so much and I lean into. Because it's like, even when I'm sitting in my bed and I'm just like, I am a complete and utter failure. God just be like, little girl, I didn't say that. Where I said it at? Point that out of the Bible for me where I said that you were a complete and utter failure because you didn't do X, Y, and Z. He didn't. Then I'd be like, dang, you right. His love's just there. He's not asking for anything. Now, does he be like, I would like it if you do X, Y, and Z? Absolutely. But I feel like thinking about it, doing X, Y, and Z is the bare minimum for that kind of love, for that kind of unconditional, come as you are. You can mess up as many times as you want, especially when we are so scared to mess up in our relationships with others and our relationship with ourselves. And once you get that in your head, then you can kind of shift your mindset to be like, okay, God loves me this much, so why am I not loving me this much? Why can't I love me this much? And at what point do I start loving myself this much? To the point where even if I am sitting in bed for 3 days, that's okay. Because you know what? That 4th day, I'm going to actually get up and do something and be productive. Or, you know what? My body doesn't look how I want it to look. That's okay. It's still my body. It's still my temple that I'm walking around in here. And guess what we going to do with my temple? Turn up. That's what I do. I got a belly button piercing. That's my turn up for my temple. And I thought I was too fat for it. Leave me alone. So it's just like with identity, after we get older, after we process, after we, deduce, determine it for yourself. You are in control of your identity. And also, too, you're ever changing. So at any point in time, you can be like, oh, this identity used to suit me, but now it doesn't. And guess what? That's okay, too. And people are going to remember the old identity and try to call you as that. And you can be like, no, that's not my name anymore. And that makes me think of like the Paul Saul situation. Like, everybody was like, oh, no, once you killing Christians like a few months ago, and he like, yeah, that ain't me no more. And everybody's just like, what? You can't just change like that? Yes, you can. That label no longer suited him. So God changed his name and gave him a new label. You can give yourself a new label. Start giving yourself a new label. Let's take our identity back as women and let's be whoever we want to be. Whoever God calls us to be. And stop dictating it based on other people's opinions, because they're always going to have one. And it's going to be annoying. But you're going to say, all right, God bless you, baby, and keep moving like an old church lady. Okay, sis. Okay, bro. Think what you want to think. But guess whose opinion matters at the end of the day? God's. That's all I got to say. Thank you for watching. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe, because we got stuff. We got stuff to talk about, right? We got things to relate on. And I'll see you guys next Monday.